Okay, we are going to just kind of do some freeform content today. Nothing too planned or scheduled, structured, or anything like that. Just kind of want to get some conversation going, do some life updates, talk about video games, just some quick notes that I really wanted to address and maybe didn't have time throughout the week to really give my thoughts and opinions on things that I really like to talk about. If you like talking about video games, movies, news, entertainment, just stuff that interests me, I guess it's maybe worth subscribing and checking out my other content, much more or structured reviews that are more opinion based than anything, and I just really have a lot of fun making them, and I enjoy the editing process. So yeah, and if you're not familiar with me, my name is Jordan Osman, and I create content here on YouTube, as this is my only job right now. Final Fantasy 16, I am still playing through it. I think I'm pretty close to done. It's a lot of game. There's a lot of content in this thing, and this game is very, very inconsistent, and it isn't until like 3/4 of the way in that it really starts to tie together and become more cohesive, better paced. The story is much more engaging. Things just move at a much faster pace way later into the game, and so it's a lot to ask the audience to sit there and like commit to the entire thing when the content in between all these major events in the story is so unbearably bland. The side content in this game is some of the most sleep-inducing writing I have ever seen. It's unfortunate because the game's incredible, and then it also sucks. It feels so dated, it's slow, and then it's fast at the same time, and then you have these big old grand giant like monster battles. They're insane. Like the battles are insane in this game. I have so many screenshots I want to just put on my wall. There is such a strong creative vision for this, and I get the impression that they were trying to make a much more linear Final Fantasy with the prominence of open world games and how they've evolved and continued to persist, how this trend just keeps growing. I mean, we're in a stage where we're getting 1,000 open worlds, I mean, technically, through Starfield. And so there's a lot of progression that's happened since the last Final Fantasy. And it isn't just the side missions, and it's also the main systems of the game that are so underbaked. The weapon system sucks. The inventory system, the combat is not varied enough for me to really find any challenge in it. There have been bosses that offered up a bit of challenge in the sense that like I died over and over, but like I was able to complete them still because every time I died, it 100% would refill my potions. It was just a matter of like time before I beat the boss rather than any sort of adjustment in my skills for the most part. There's some that kind of force you to work around them a little bit, but that was even just more annoying than anything. So I found the bosses to be a little disappointing in that sense, but in terms of visual spectacle, unmatched. Like I've never played a boss battle that is as bombastic and over the top and just grand. You get the point. It's slow, it's bland, but it's also over the top, crazy, exciting, amazing, like showcase for the technical ability of the PlayStation. The load times are virtually non-existent. I wish this game was just more robust because like the inventory there, you don't do anything with anything you pick up in this game. I couldn't tell you what any of these crafting pieces are meant for other than like a new sword, which is just so secondary to the entire crux of the combat, which is the abilities, the icon abilities, which are incredibly fun to use and varied, but lack any diversity overall. So at the end of the day, the game is incredibly inconsistent. I do want to give more of an in-depth review of this and really dive into why it didn't work for me and why it did. The next thing I want to talk about is this creative project I'm pretty excited to expand a little bit more. I basically want to talk about different stories in my life, and I think it's a productive exercise for myself just to kind of process these events and learn new things about myself in that process, and I think they might at the end of the day provide some entertainment for you. It's just going to be strings of thoughts, stuff that is interesting, like finding relatability in my experiences, and if there's somebody out there that feels similarly, just anything to help me connect on a deeper level with an audience, because I don't want to just restrict myself to video game and movie content 100%. I like to talk about other things and real world issues, and the next series I want to work on is this much more of a short film type of thing where I talk at a much more open personal level. I think that'll be really fun and rewarding. I quit my job not to pursue YouTube. Obviously, I'm only at like 244 subs as of recording this, so it's not really an income, but I more want to get into the creative field. It's much more difficult and time consuming than I anticipated. I used to work as a salesman for a major beer company, and it was a lot of work, and not something I really wanted to pursue any further. Sales wasn't something that really stuck with me. I don't really like having to put on a persona to interact with everybody. I am unemployed and is currently seeking jobs in work, and if you know anything, send me. Yeah, I'm looking for a job. Those are kind of the updates on life. There've been a lot of moving pieces, and I've not been able to dedicate as much time to this channel as I would have liked to. And then I think the last thing I'd recommend is to go watch my last video. I talk about The Idol and what an absolute dumpster fire that show is. I had a fun time making that video too, so check that one out. Let me know your thoughts on that show. If you like it, you like it. It's not that, I mean, it's competently made. You know, it exists. I can say that. So yeah, go ahead and do that stuff. Like the video, subscribe. I'll probably be putting out some more content like this, and keep an eye out on that series I was talking about, potentially relatable stories, for now, working title. So yeah, till next time, thanks.